And we're live. How's it going, Stefan?
Good. Hello.
All right. So for those of you guys watching this on my channel, I'm here with Stefan from his channel, The Roar Within. Why don't you just start off? Because a lot of people don't know who you are. Just go ahead and talk about like what you've been doing on YouTube
Yeah.
and stuff.
I don't really use my channel as much right now or know what I'm doing with it, but my channel used to be mostly about mental health and then strayed into veganism, occasionally music as well. But I've been making videos for probably a decade back when YouTube wasn't as popular as it is now. I just started seeing other people vlog and I thought, yeah, I'll just do that as well. And I noticed the kind of people that would do it would be quite introverted and maybe shyer in real life. And that was kind of the way I had of contacting the outside world. Um, but yeah, lately I'm taking a little bit of a break or trying to figure out the direction of my channel just because I want to get my health better so I can actually feel good consistently and not use my YouTube as a way just to sort of moan about my problems because it doesn't really help. It helps temporarily, like if you need to get something off your chest, but no one wants to hear it time and again. Like people get bored of that, obviously. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I've kind of struggled with pretty much the same thing. Just using using YouTube as just a way to express myself, and stuff. And a lot of people seem to watch it. Um, what What do you plan on doing now? Because all your videos are private.
yeah. At some point, I'm sure some of them won't be private. It's just because I don't know if I want to have just videos on every topic in the world possible. And the vegan thing, which I guess we may touch on, has kind of led to a crisis in identity almost in knowing like what is my channel going to be now, because a lot of it was pushing go vegan, stop killing animals and all that, and now I'm confused about health and whether people can actually be healthy on a vegan diet, because my experience was that I didn't feel great with my gut, and I've seen a lot of people coming out and blaming the diet and saying it made them worse as well. So I've still got all the videos I had before. They're just private, so I can just click and they're all there. But for anyone who cares, I'll probably, at some point, my plan is to just focus on health, and whether I can actually get fully healthy is a question that I can't answer. But I want to maybe focus on that and just the mental health side. But I don't want to repeat the stuff I've already talked about. And I feel that I've read so many self-help books that most of the advice is the same, like exercise, mindfulness, and all that stuff helps. But
Right. Yeah,
everyone's
it,
said it
it is
already.
kind of it is kind of challenging when like you want to talk about stuff like mental health, but you're not sure like what to cover because some of it, you think maybe people already know or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
and like I used to be able to just film regularly and I used to be excited about doing it, and the passion's kind of gone a bit. And also I get like terrible brain fog sometimes. So when I try and film a video when I've been at work all day, I can't sometimes put a sentence together because my brain is so messed up. And then I'll film for about an hour straight and I've got 20 takes of me just forgetting what I'm talking about. And so I need to make sure my health is better because it's so up and down. I can feel all right, like right now I can think quite clearly, but most of the time I'd say I live in this kind of weird detachment where I just don't feel connected to the world, and that's hard to make a video when you feel like that. So I don't want to put out crappy content. So
yeah.
I'll make videos when I'm better.
Yeah, so you pretty much right now you're focusing a lot on your health and like trying to make sure that physically you're good,
Mm,
mental health and physical health.
yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, who's listening to this, I took a medication for acne when I was 15, and at the time I thought this is not even, something I'll be worrying about in the future. It's just they tell you, or they told me at the time, these side effects are temporary and rare. And I got most of the main ones, and none of them went away. And it's been 13 years. So Accutane is the name of the drug. Don't take it unless you want to risk destroying your health. Cleared my skin up, and maybe it was inevitable that I'd go on that drug because I did care about my skin, and acne sucks. but it probably would have passed as well in time. But my main health problems are just the lack of energy, the sort of mental side, because I feel so depleted that, you know, your brain and body are so connected. And my digestion just seems so sensitive. I get bloated a lot and can't seem to digest food very well. So it's kind of why I went vegan in the first place, because I was curious about health and then I learned about the other aspects. But now I don't know what to eat. I don't know what's healthy anymore. Like even fruit and vegetables can seem to irritate my gut. So I think there's an underlying issue I need to fix, and that those foods are probably good for anyone in the right circumstances. But yeah, that's kind of the health thing covered.
Right. So, yeah, I was a little surprised, like very surprised to see that you made all these recent videos about not being vegan, and that got you into a lot of little bit of a big controversy with a lot of people who are subscribed to you, right?
Yeah, so I've always been quite all or nothing in terms of if I'm going for something, I'll like push it strongly. So I always cared about the animal side, which is why I stayed vegan for 4 years. But I started learning, or I thought, and now I'm not so sure, but there was a lot of people coming out saying veganism made their health worse. And I knew that Accutane was the ultimate cause, but I did think as well my gut health in particular had got worse being vegan. So suddenly I thought, this is a lie, and I've been pushing this for 4 years and telling people not to kill animals, that it's wrong. And I just start reading the other side and thinking, well, most, or maybe not most, but a lot of animals in the wild rely on eating other animals, that they can't be herbivores, and maybe we're not. And you'd think by now in the 21st century humans would figure out what they're supposed to eat. And maybe a lot of people think they know because you know, we've made it this far mostly eating meat and not processed foods.
I mean, yeah. I mean, now with all the crap that like fast food and
So hard to not
like
cave in as well, isn't it? And
oh
eat them.
yeah, yeah, and processed food. Like I mean, I grew up. That's all I knew,
Mm,
and I didn't like even think about it until I don't know, just starting to live on my own, being an adult. You know, because like
mm.
my mom certainly wasn't health conscious at all, and um, you know, like I never even thought about being vegan. I didn't even
No way.
know any vegans like at all. And really, it wasn't
No.
until I started like seeing people talk about it on YouTube and stuff that I even considered it. And I mean, to be honest with you, like watching your videos, it got me pretty close to like thinking maybe I'm gonna be vegan at some point,
Yeah.
you know. And I
Did
mean,
you see any of the footage of what happens to animals and stuff like that?
I've seen a few things that were well, like there's a few things that I seen, but I really didn't look too much into it. Um,
Yeah.
like yeah, I mean, I'm coming from a totally different world than you, I think, first of all, because my whole family is like really into um like farming and um
Yeah.
hunting and stuff. So I never did any of that stuff. I'm not into it, but um
It's interesting though, like stopping for a sec. My stepdad's into hunting. He what does he shoot? Pigeons, another type of bird that I can't remember, pheasants, that's it. And my I guess he's my sort of nephew. It's my stepsister's son. He's probably about 9 or 10, and he's really into hunting. And the conditioning is such a strong factor in what people become or what they think is acceptable, I suppose. And so it's hard to say what we would think if no one had drilled in anything to us, because obviously, when you're a baby, you're not going to be able to feed yourself anyway. So you're
mhm.
at the whim of whatever. But it got me thinking with the vegan thing. I was like, you know what? No one has really been vegan until recently. And there's no way loads of fruit would have been available and vegetables. We would have had to have killed animals. And it probably wouldn't have even been this thing where we thought it was bad. I think my problem now is that I have this guilt because I've seen what happens
Right.
and I don't agree with it. And yet, if I pay for that, I'm kind of agreeing with it. That's my dilemma.
Well, I mean, you could always, I mean, you could always still make videos talking about animals, you know,
Mm.
and treating how animals are treated. And, you know, there's certainly, you know, even people who aren't vegans and who've never been vegans
Yeah.
still have to focus on, you know, the right time of the right, if like, obviously, like, vegans don't think that like any sort of eating meat is okay. But
Mm.
like you can still try as you can still try to focus on like better practices of
Yeah.
farming and stuff, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a weird concept, I suppose, anyway,
It's
farming,
different,
just
yeah.
that,
It's difficult.
like a wolf wouldn't look after its prey animal for a while and then kill it. It's a kind of unusual thing. But yeah, I agree that obviously the bigger problem and the reason that people have gone vegan is because of the more recent history developments where we farm animals in bulk, and many of them never see the light of day and are treated horrifically. And just seeing the most extreme cases of violence and cruelty, it just like
Yeah.
affects me so deeply.
I
Uh,
just out are you planning on becoming vegan by the end of the stream? I feel like I'm talking you back into this. Like I feel like I'm like explaining like you're gonna by the end of this conversation, you're gonna be like, oh man, he's talking
oh
about
no, well,
hunting
it's the thing though.
and like treating because like you have that obvious care for
Oh yeah,
animals.
that's
You have
not
the
going to go
like
away ever. But
it's so clear to me as somebody who watches you that you are absolutely horrified by what happens. But
mm,
you know, it's like
I mean, it's
you've only been a vegan for what, not very long, right?
about 4 years. I mean, is that long? I don't know. For some people, that would be a big ask. Like, hey, meat eater, you love your meat, go vegan for 4 years. I'd be like, no way, I could do it for a week maybe. But at the same time, yeah, that's 24 years roughly of when I ate whatever. But the difference is I wasn't really aware. Like, I remember in school, I was affected by it. We had a philosophy class and we were shown it wasn't the worst footage because they wouldn't want to traumatize kids in school, but certainly showed some like slaughter footage. And it, that's the first time I'd seen anything like that. And it's so hidden from everybody, especially when you're young. That, yeah, I was like, whoa, that's pretty fucked. But you're with your friends and they're like, oh, I know, but it's just what happens, isn't it? And then I went home and my mum cooks whatever and you just forget. But it's a weird thing for me now because it became my identity, like it does for most vegans, like the ones who get really passionate. It's like all they care about, and they're constantly judging, what people are doing. And it's just like stressful that you have to worry about so many things. Um,
So would you say that right now you're really, really concerned about other vegans, like what they think about you? Because like I've
no,
seen that. Oh, you're not okay. Because I've seen that like people made videos about you. Like
I know.
I went through and I watched a little bit, not too much, but there was one person who was supportive of you that I watched. There was
Who was
like
that?
a
I don't
couple
remember
people that
anyone being
definitely
supportive.
what?
He was supportive of me. I don't know if I saw that one.
Well, it wasn't a vegan. It was
uh,
somebody. It was somebody who was like,
oh, the
and
carnival guy.
I don't know. Like I don't know
Yeah,
who it was.
I think I've seen the video anyway.
Like
Not many people made responses because when this happened before, when I because this has been a continuous issue. My health is like my priority, but then this became a second priority. So about a year ago, you'll probably remember, or probably a year and a half ago, I did something similar where I made a video saying I'm not vegan anymore. And in a week, considering how small my channel is and even was at that point, it got like 70,000 views in a week. And then I made it private because I went vegan again.
right. Yeah,
Uh,
I did see that. Yeah.
but yeah, that on that occasion, there was probably quite a few responses and a fuckload of comments. So you kind of have to turn off. And I don't think I'd want to be popular on YouTube because if you mess up or if you do something that's controversial, like it's just hard not to be affected by people commenting and calling you whatever. So that was unusual.
Yeah, I know it's kind of the dilemma of being on YouTube is do you be open with people and share like stuff that people might not like, you know, that might get you some into some heat or whatever, or do you just like, you know, just make videos that are about nothing and
Exactly. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know and make sure that there's no controversy whatsoever around you, and it's just like I think that I have to like really get better at not caring about negative comments and like feedback like
Mm.
that. Like either that, or if I do care, like I'm gonna have to change things.
I might just delete mine from now on. I don't get that many because my channel is small, but like today I uploaded a video and I had my little rabbit tattoo out of my rabbit who's my pet. So my
Mm.
girlfriend tattooed it. I think it looks really good. But this guy just, and like it's a typical comment that an alpha male or someone who thinks they're an alpha male would say, like, oh, cover up your gay tattoo or whatever. It's like, what,
Right.
because it's a rabbit? Yeah. Oh, you would have been fine if it was a lion or a tiger, because that's stereotypically just what a man should have tattooed. A rabbit's
Right.
still cool, man. Here's the thing, I don't get it, because people almost assign uh, gender, or I don't know, like people will look at if I had a dolphin tattoo, a dolphin's such a cool animal, one of my favorites, and people will be
Right.
like, that's a bit of a gay tattoo, a dolphin.
You think so? I
How?
don't. I don't
How
think
is it
so.
gay?
I don't think
You
so.
know,
I like dolphins,
dolphins are amazing.
but maybe that's just me. I don't know. I think that like yeah, there are certain things like that are just cool, like people like wolves and tigers and stuff, but like I don't know. I guess I don't care. I'm the kind of person who I just don't care what anybody does most of the time.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna be judgmental, but there's certainly people out there that are just idiots.
I think
And
what bothers me about YouTube the most, and you might agree as well, that if I have my hopes up that a video will get good feedback, or I've like with my music in particular, no one really gives a shit about my music. And to be fair, with all the different content, people have probably subscribed to my channel for either the veganism or the not the animal rights, the depression and mental health stuff. So when I put a song out, not many people are interested. And if it's an original song, obviously no one's going to be searching for it anyway.
do you ever think about maybe creating like a second channel just for your music? And like all the people who are subscribed to your main channel who want to see the music will subscribe to that channel. And
Yeah,
then
I thought about it.
your second channel with just music
I
could
know.
to actually take off on its own, and new people who just want to see the music will show up and just only know you as the music guy.
Yeah, yeah, I thought about it. It's just year ago I went to college again and I did a music course for a year, and I had more time on my hands and I was quite into recording songs. Whereas lately, I mean, I recorded one this morning a little while ago, this afternoon probably, and I'll probably upload it in the next couple of days. And I think it's a good song. But until that, I haven't really felt like recording or writing anything. Like I've had no creativity. So I would think about creating a second channel, but at the moment, I just don't have enough drive to be putting out music videos separately. It'd probably be like once every few months, so it's
Oh, okay.
pointless.
Yeah. All right. Um. Yeah. Anything else going on?
uh let's finish on the vegan thing for a minute. So it's a weird thing for me because in my spare time, I would pretty much watch vegan activism, like people. Jerry Carbstrong's popular on YouTube, Earthling Ed, if anyone knows who these guys are. And I'm still subscribed to them now. And so when they upload videos, I'm like, I really kind of agree. But the thing that broke it for me, and the thing that's the deal breaker in general for everyone should go vegan, is if we can't be healthy being vegan, and I'm sure there's loads of people that definitely can't be, I'm not sure if I could ever be, but there's certainly some dilemma about that. If it was proved that humans evolved eating animals, which I mean we did, but whether that's the sole reason and we need to do it, if that was true, then I would say eating animals or killing animals is not wrong, but then we need to focus our energies on sorting everything out. So I still think that veganism plays an important part in making people aware, because the more people turn a blind eye, it's just so much horrible stuff happens, and it shouldn't be allowed to. Like, I cared too much about justice that it just plays on my mind constantly. And so I think that whether you're vegan or not, you should kind of be aware of what you might be paying for. But at the same time, we need to apply pressures collectively, and that's not going to happen if vegans separate themselves from the 98% or 99% of people that eat meat. But collectively, we could say to the governments, sort the laws out, because the kind of cruelty that is caught on camera, and they're now installing CCTV in the UK. If that's caught, there should be actual punishments, because at the moment, if someone's caught bludgeoning a pig slowly to death with a hammer in the face or something, they'll get a very small fine of about £200 and maybe go to prison for 4 weeks or be suspended from the job. Whereas if there was more equal laws, and killing an animal is similar to killing a human, and I'm sure people who can torture animals could do that to a child or a human, if the punishments were fair, we would see less of it, I think, or at least people would serve the right kind of punishment in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how things would work in terms of laws and stuff, but there
Mm.
certainly seems like we have to at least be pushing at some level for, just do a better job. Like, don't be don't be killing animals, that um in the way that people have been and that are doing it.
Because the hard thing for me now is knowing which animals I should eat. Because there's always, like, for most people, I'd say this is the case. Before I knew anything about veganism, if someone said, "Do you want to eat lamb or rabbit or duck?" I would have said no, just because I don't know. Like, let's be honest, a chicken isn't the most cute, cuddly animal, so people kind of don't worry so much about killing a chicken. Whereas when I quit veganism and I had a few steaks, it kind of grossed me out that I was like picking up this raw bit of meat and then grilling it, or doing it on the saucepan and flipping it over and blood juice is coming out. But then there's fields, quite a lot of them, because I live in the countryside, and I see the cows, and sometimes I see them up close and they look at me and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to pay for you to die." But it's just
Yeah.
a false reality that we live, I guess, because we have the privilege that we can just go to a supermarket or go to a restaurant and be like, "I'll have this," and it's just delivered to you. You don't have to do anything. So I guess that if it was a case we were actually part of nature again, and you were doing it to survive, and you killed the animal, and you did it as nicely as you could, then I think you'd feel less guilt because you're not paying someone else, and you don't know when you're going to a supermarket. And some people don't think about it, obviously. But for me, if I bought some meat, I'd be worrying now, oh, was this chicken tortured? And yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's actually weird because I mean, where I grew up, like I would I would be around like cows all the time because my grandparents have cows
Yeah.
had, and like they would raise them, and they would get the meat from their own cows. So is it the same thing? I mean, I guess kind of. They would have like 10 of them,
Because the
and like
problem is obviously with supermarkets and this whole kind of Amazon corporate mentality, all the little farmers that were probably treating the animals pretty well overall now are under so much stress to just conform and go along with cheap prices, and then they're bought out by the supermarkets. That obviously most cases now meat's coming from some obscure farm from miles away in some massive factory, and there's a lot of lies that I didn't know existed until I looked into it. Most people will probably think if they buy free range eggs, for example, that the chickens have a load of space, but they don't. They're just like 3,000 of them in a shed, but they're not in a cage, so they're free range.
yeah,
So
I
yeah,
will
just
say
trying to be moral with
yeah,
it, I guess.
yeah, I guess I I have like totally mixed feelings about like eating meat because I mean obviously like I've only ate meat. I eat meat all the time, like I've never been a vegan. Never
Yeah,
really thought about it too much until I
pretty
started
hard.
seeing like you and stuff. But like when you ask me like is it moral, is it okay? Like when you talk about like have we evolved to eat meat and that sort of like deep questions
Mm,
like that, like it's I have totally mixed feelings about it because
yeah,
on the one hand, I think like vegans, I think um like well, if it's not necessary to kill animals, should we be doing it at all? Like if we can survive, if we can be healthy without doing it, maybe it
yeah,
is the right ethical moral decision to just not do it.
Mm.
However, at the same time, I also think like a carnivore. And I'm like, I look at an animal and I'm like, I don't see this thing as being intelligent. I see it as being dumb. Who cares? like, actually, honestly, I'm probably partly a psychopath because because I mean, I'm just saying I could probably if I had to for survival, there's a part of you where the killing aspect kicks in. I mean, thank God nobody has to in civilized society, we don't have to be violent with people. We don't have to protect ourselves, by killing people or animals. But
This is where I question, let's assume that my genes and the way I am, my personality is in some way related to my ancestry and evolution or whatever. I wonder if I was one of those people in the camp that sat on the fence and was good for listening out for danger, but I wouldn't kill animals. I
that's
know
great.
I wasn't
No,
the
I
same.
love that. I love that line of thinking. Like, who are my ancestors?
Because a lot of people, have no problem, even if they see the footage, they might know it's messed up and that it could be done better, but they don't have any issue. And I'm like, is that right or am I right? And I wish I didn't have to ask these fucking deep questions all the time and I could just get on with my life.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot easier before I knew any of this and really cared. And again, when I had friends and when I had friends, I have none now. When I was more around people and not, just stuck in adult routine of going to a 9 to 5, and I got friends at work, but ultimately outside of that, I don't really see many people. But in high school, when I had a close group of friends, I would have been influenced by them. So there's no chance then I ever would have considered going vegan. And in reality, although the reason I stayed vegan was because of what I learned about animals, I only looked into it in the first place because I was desperate about my health.
Right.
And that's the case for probably quite a lot of people.
It
But now
is.
it's confusing because part of me believes that we should eat meat because we shouldn't be eating soy and fake wheat-based products that are usually
Yeah.
the meat substitutes. But then another part of me is like, well, what is causing cancer, heart disease, diabetes? It's probably the processed shit. It's probably also the factory farmed meat because they're pumped with antibiotics and it's a bit artificial. But we probably didn't have any of these issues when we evolved eating meat, is what I believe now.
Yeah, it's the moral question about it is always difficult because for most people they don't even think about it. But once you start thinking about it, like what is the right thing, it all of a sudden
Yeah,
it bothers you all the time.
blurred lines.
You can't stop thinking about it. And it's like when you're faced with having to make a choice, it becomes that much harder. But if you think about it, most people, probably 99% of people, don't even think about it. They just do it. They just eat meat. They just don't care. They don't even, and I think that's the issue is it really
Well,
comes down to how much thought are we putting into our actions and how much thought are we putting into the choices that we make, even like health wise.
mhm,
Are you even considering what the food that you're eating is even doing to your body? And especially
sure.
young people, but not just young people, just people that aren't educated about health won't even think about it. And so I think it's important to at least talk about this stuff and have conversations and educate yourself and, you know, so forth. So
Yeah, I mean, you hear all this stuff obviously about how we're destroying the planet, and I think again the main issue is that and it's not to say it's a bad thing, but we are civilized now, and we have laws, we have police, and I'm not saying we should be allowing people to be stabbed in the face, but we have to also deny, there's certain, not many people, I don't hate many people, but I could think of one right now that I would love to punch in the face. This one guy, he's such a fucking dick. I would punch him square in the nose, but I can't do that. I would go to prison. And we have to deny almost a lot of our emotions. Or let's say at work, I'm depressed or I'm bored. I can't say that because I'll get fired. I can't say, I'm bored as fuck. Because someone will be like, dude, you can't say that. Or if I'm dealing with a difficult customer, I can't say, hey, you know what? I don't give a shit right now. End the call
right.
on them. You can't do that.
Yeah, you
So a
can't
lot
do
of the
that to your
time,
customers.
a lot of the time we have to just swallow our own emotions. And I guess that's another thing that people almost do. if they become aware of, because these videos go around on Facebook of animals being killed in horrific ways, people will see it and just go, no, I don't want to know. And it's better that people don't know for their own reasons. And another weird thing for me is that I've never like believed in God or I don't really think I believe in the afterlife, but why do I care so much about morals? Because most of the time people care because they're afraid of a conscience and potential, karma. And I don't believe karma exists.
Well, that's the ultimate. To me, that's the ultimate, like truly the ultimate problem that people are facing on an individual level is why should I care about anything
Yeah.
if all of this is meaningless?
Mm-hmm.
Then it doesn't matter what I do. I can be the most evil person out there, not care about anybody, not do anything good for myself, not do anything good for other people. And I think that, you can have your own belief or disbelief in God or any sort of like thing that people talk about in religious senses, like an afterlife or whatever. But ultimately, like we all have to face the ultimate question of do I care or do I not care
Yeah.
about the well-being of others and myself? And I think that you just have to aim. You have to aim up. You have to aim at making things better rather than worse. And like if there is such a thing as God, it's got to be something that has to do with the ultimate good and the ultimate. I don't really have. I have a lot of thoughts on God, but I'm not going to get into it right now. We've already covered the vegan thing.
Yeah.
We don't need to get into
deep conversation.
We don't need to get into anything deeper, but
let's ask a couple of questions and then we can move on from the vegan topic. But it is an interesting one for anyone, I think, whether they give a shit about veganism or animals or whatever. But like, obviously, my picture that's on display right now is me at a sanctuary with a couple of donkeys. Like, where do we draw the line? Because a lot of people have certain morals. Like for me now, I won't wear leather because I know that, like, maybe I can justify eating meat if it makes me feel healthy, but I don't need a cow to be skinned alive, or sometimes they are skinned alive for a leather jacket. Likewise, a lot of people go along wearing leather, but they have issues with fur. Like, I wouldn't kill a donkey. I wouldn't kill my dog. I wouldn't want, I don't know, like what animals. This is the most confusing thing. And again, if we're in the wild, caveman, don't give a shit. I'm hungry. I need to survive. I'll eat whatever. I'll eat a fucking dinosaur if I see one. But yeah, I think because we're living in this weird modern life where we can have pets and we can see that animals are cute and they have character, and I just have a soft spot for them. It's weird to then sort of ignore that or kind of go against that by paying for other animals to die just because they're the ones that have been chosen to be farmed. So for you, are there any animals you wouldn't eat? Like, would you eat a duck or a lamb? Or because a lot of people, that's a gray area. Like a baby cow. Some people don't eat veal. A lot of people don't eat veal because they know it's a baby cow.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. It it depends. I don't think that there's really a lot of animals that I wouldn't eat.
Would you eat a dog?
I don't like the idea of it, but if somebody was like, "Hey, the dog's already right here. You want to eat some?" I'd be like, "I'll try it." But like, I'm definitely not comfortable, like actually, like saying, "Here, come here, boy, come here. I'm gonna go take you and kill you right now, and I'm gonna eat you."
Let's go to the
Like,
woods.
I would not be comfortable killing a dog at all.
Because
Like,
of how it would
period.
make you feel, probably. Because, like, I know
Yeah.
for me, let's say if I killed my dog, who I love so much, Maisie, a cocker spaniel, who's I think 8 years old now. Like, yeah, I would have to kill myself if I killed her. I'd feel the most guilt. I wouldn't be able to look at myself ever.
Yeah, I'm not like that. Like, I could kill anybody as long as I can not be alive, or as long as I can not. I said that wrong. As long as I can stay alive, I'd probably, yeah. Bye, bye, doggy.
Oh, I remember a point I sort of touched on because I often do this
All
when
right.
I make my own.
I'm not comfortable with this anymore. Like, I feel like we're done now.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna start talking about killing animals right now.
What do you want to talk about next?
Um, so I don't know. I honestly like when it comes to the whole vegan thing, I'll move on, but when it comes to the whole vegan thing, I actually have not put that much thought into it. So it's really interesting to talk to you about it. And I'm kind of like nervous talking about it with you, especially because I know how you feel about it, and I can totally go into some dark places. Like my type of humor is dark humor. Like I love dark humor. Like, and it is definitely crossing the line for me for a lot of
I
things.
do.
Like, so I apologize. For me, the one thing that I always want to like my type of like if I was to be my type of humor, and it's kind of a sick humor, I think, is I want to make other people uncomfortable and I want to challenge people. And 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 it's so hard to like stop myself from like wanting that. But I think I am somewhat of a psychopath for sure.
Do you actually think that, or are you
I
joking?
don't know. I'd have to look into it because I don't know. No, I have so much empathy for people, but there's certainly a twisted aspect to my humor, at least.
Yeah. See, I'm weird. Again, we'll move on. But my last statement is that if I heard in the news that there was a fire in a building and 100 people died, I would think that sucks. But if it was 100 dogs, I would care more. Is that wrong? I don't know.
See, I can't relate to that at all.
No.
I'm like the opposite of that. Like I care more about people than I do animals.
Do you like most people? Like, so your view on the world is that people are generally decent people?
No. No. I definitely I look at people as having the capacity for good or bad, and we have to persuade people or we have to influence people to do the right thing and to be good. I think that people it's a matter of this is gonna be sound so cliche, but it's a matter of um I'm trying to think of the right way to put it. I guess you could say it's a matter of order and chaos. It is
Mhm.
kind of like the whole idea of like, asking yourself if it's right to kill animals or whatever. It's like naturally, if you left us in the natural way of things, I mean, I guess you could say that what we have is natural, but
Mm.
if you left it to our basic instincts, we would probably be going around stealing, killing,
Oh
not
yeah.
caring, not having morals, right? And once we start having to contemplate things, then we have a new level of ethics and morals, and we have to think about things and whether it's right or wrong. And that is us creating civilization in an orderly fashion. We have laws, we have things you're not allowed to do, right? And um, I think that it takes effort to override the natural instincts of people, and those natural instincts do not align with the um the way that we want things to be ideally. We want things to be lawful. We want people to treat other people as
Mhm.
well. We want people to be good. We want people to do the right thing. But if you don't put pressure on people to do the right thing, I don't think they will.
I think ironically as well, the fact that we are civil and, most people don't kill each other is what
I
is
gue-
leading to this planet's most, you know, coming
I guess
issue with
I
the
want to clarify my point. I'm sorry.
go
Go
on.
ahead. No, go ahead.
No, it's pretty much done. I was just saying that there's a lot of stuff that's kind of impending right now because we just keep fucking and bringing more people to the planet and people are living longer, which is good. I'm not saying we should just say, hey, yo, you're living too long, so we're going to shoot everyone at the age of 70. But at the same time, with this kind of weird artificial sense of reality, we are just taking over the planet and it's gonna collapse at some point, which is, I don't know if we're gonna witness it in our lifetime, but the next generation's gonna be a little fucked at this point unless something drastic changes. What are your thoughts on the future? What's gonna happen? You still there? Um, I don't even know. Can anyone hear me? In the comments on YouTube, just write a comment if you can hear me. Or has my computer just frozen? Am I just talking to myself? It doesn't seem to have frozen as Kenny just fucking left me here. Someone can still hear us. Where the fuck's Kenneth gone, eh? This isn't even my channel. There he
Hello,
is.
hello. Sorry, I don't know what I did. I must have hit a button or something. Um,
Uh,
I I went over to our thing, the call that we're in, and I was like, "Your microphone is muted." When did I ever do that? My hands have been
oh,
away. My
it
hands have
wasn't
been
for
away.
too long.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was asking you your thoughts on the future. What's going to happen? Is it
Okay, well,
fucked?
well, I want to clarify what I said earlier, and
Go
then
on.
also I don't have sort of a doomsday looking at the future. I also want to clarify that I don't think everybody is evil. I don't think everybody's gonna kill anybody. I'm not saying I think that people are good, but there's certainly if we didn't have laws, if we didn't make an effort to be good, we
Mhm.
would be less good. And I'm not sure, I guess, how bad people would be if we left people.
I
I
reckon
don't
it'd be
know.
like The Walking Dead.
It's kind of a like actually like just a hypothetical thing because life is the way it is. Like naturally, we have created a society.
Mhm.
We have anyway. The future, I think you know I think that it could go either way, but I don't know. I'm
Because I know that you made videos on this at the time. The INFP, you're an INFP, correct?
yeah.
You still give much grounds to that personality test, or do you think it's a bit like, nah? I found it helpful
Um,
at the time. It's
I
pretty
think that
accurate.
I think that it does work. Have you seen any of Jordan Peterson's stuff?
Yeah, I don't really like him. I
Have
bought
you?
his book and it sucked. Like,
Yeah,
so bad. Some people fucking love the guy, and I really don't get why. I've seen some
I
good
like
moments.
him, so I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Like, maybe you can shed some light on it, but I see.
Here's why I like him because he's. I actually, I'm not gonna say this right now.
Say it.
I went to go see him live, so
Did you?
I'm kind of a fan of his. Um,
Was
and
that like a seminar or a classroom? What kind of thing does he do live?
um, he talked a lot about responsibility the whole time.
Okay.
He, well, the reason
The
why I brought him on,
lobster thing,
we don't have
right?
to, huh?
The lobster thing, right? He talks about
Yeah,
lobsters.
yeah.
And standing up straight, that's his advice in his book.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna like defend like I'm not gonna say what he says because he has so many videos that I mean, you'd
A
have to
lot.
look into it yourself to, you
Yeah.
know, I'm not gonna say what he is about, but he's a clinical psychologist and he he talks a lot about psychology and stuff, but and his main book is the Maps of Meaning thing,
Oh, is
where he
that the
talks
original
about
book you came out with?
I guess.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, but he talks a lot about like he has the same attitude that I have, which is like people like like there's a dark nature of people. There's a evil aspect to individuals, and we have to um you know be he I don't know how to put it, but he has this personality test, the Big Five personality thing. I mean, it's not his, I don't think.
Okay, I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's not his, but I mean, it might be. I don't know. Maybe he worked on it. I have no idea. But I found that to be extremely informative for me.
What did it tell you? What
Uh,
are the five options? What does it? What is it?
uh, the five options are hold on. It is. I'm looking it up right now. Um, we have openness to experience, conscientiousness, extroverted,
Hmm.
agreeableness, and neuroticism.
He says a lot about the agreeableness, and I think he's right on that point.
Well, I am not in the 94th percentile of agreeableness, which I find that to be the most like interesting thing is to see where I rank compared to other people because um
Yeah. What, you're
it
very agreeable, you mean, yeah?
I'm very agreeable. I'm mostly polite, meaning I don't want to upset people.
Yeah, I'm the same as well.
I don't want to, I don't want to make people unhappy,
Mhm.
and that's sort of the whole thing. But like I scored in like the 90 something percentile of neuroticism, which is negative emotion, which makes sense because I always talk about how much I have like low self-esteem or how much I hate myself and stuff like that, how much I
Mm.
feel pathetic, and that's all negative emotion. I seen that I'm in the 90th percentile of withdrawal, which is a breakdown of extrovertedness,
Yep,
and which means that I isolate myself
me
and
too.
I'd rather be alone.
Hmm.
Um, and I scored. This is the one that really sucks. I scored at the absolute bottom, the 0th percentile
Fuck.
of conscientiousness, which means I'm lazy as fuck.
Jesus Christ, 0.
Yeah, which means out of everybody, you're not getting me to do shit.
What questions did it ask you to determine that you're lazy then? Did it be like, yo, would you make your bed out of, because I've just brought up the test and I'll do it maybe after this and see my own result, but I'll be similar to you in some ways, like the introvert thing and the
You know
agreeable.
what? I could probably actually give you the one that Jordan Peterson actually made. It costs money, but I can probably give you
Yeah.
a because I think you can share it, buy it for a friend. I can buy it for you.
Oh no, you don't have to buy it for me. I've got the Truity. I don't know if you've heard of this. This is a website that also has the test. It's probably a bit different to Jordan. How much is it anyway? Like a few quid or something?
Like $10. He increased the price. It was like 8. Maybe I had like a coupon
Motherfucker.
code. I must have like a coupon code or something.
Yeah.
Um,
See, what I find with him is that he says a lot, and I think he's very good at defending himself, but he never really answers a question. I find it so frustrating. He's done this really famous interview, and you've maybe seen it, about gender equality, and he's probably done quite a few on that topic. But there's one, I think it was BBC, it was in the UK at least,
mhm.
and there was a woman interviewing him, and it's what got him fairly popular in the UK. And he's good in some ways, but I'm like, he doesn't fucking answer a question. He doesn't say much. He's one of those people that seems to just pad everything. And it's like,
Um,
I've
are you
listened to
talking
him
about the
for like
Kathy Newman one?
yes.
Well, I mean that one. I don't know how you could look at that and see that he was doing anything wrong there because she was just asking really leading questions and she didn't understand who he was or what he stood for at all. And
Mm.
if you walk into an interview and you think you're gonna try to ask somebody a question to get them, then why should they put up with that? Like if you were gonna get interviewed by somebody and they were gonna push you on your vegan thing and they were gonna misrepresent you, I mean that wouldn't be
She
good at
was
all.
definitely doing that. She was
But
basically
and I think that I mean, out of all the people that I've ever watched, I feel like Jordan Peterson is extremely careful with what he says, like
he is.
more than literally anybody I've ever seen.
Mm.
And that's one of the things I like about him is he actually thinks. He actually thinks about stuff and he actually cares about like he's not a bad guy. He's not being, he's not trying to be deceitful at all. He's just trying to be a deep thinker. And
Mm.
if you disagree with him on his conclusions, I mean that's fine. I think that the more likely you are to have your own opinions on things, the more likely you're going to maybe butt heads with him a little bit. But I don't know. Yeah, that's my thoughts.
Because there's a lot of people saying that he is like the next Carl Jung or one of these philosophers that's going to be remembered in 100 years, and that might be true. And I'm still just not sure why. I'm just confused what he has to offer, like what his message is. I don't really get it, and I agree because I think the whole gender like binary thing where people are saying you can choose your gender is complete. It's so stupid, and I
The
don't want to
gender is
offend
weird.
anyone, but it's
The
ridiculous.
gender is weird, and I'm not gonna really talk about it, but
It's a controversial one.
yeah. I mean, again, if we're trying to have like YouTube channels, we might want to like stay away from controversial stuff.
Yeah, I kind of like the controversial stuff sometimes though, because I don't see how people can be so easily offended in a way. You know, it's like
Mhm.
if I said to someone a statement that I don't believe God exists, or maybe I say, fuck God, I don't see why they would care because they think I'm stupid and I'm going to go to hell for it. So they might as well be like,
Yeah.
yeah, the guy can believe what he
I
wants.
mean, if you are like a Christian or something and you hear somebody say like I don't believe in God or fuck God, it is absolutely a it feels like
A
a
trigger.
an attack. It is a trigger, absolutely. It feels like it's and I think that that's more on I mean, the part of the person who feels that way. I
Mm,
don't think that it's wrong to think I honestly, when it comes to God, I don't really care what people think unless like what your belief is that the God that you believe in says that you need to kill people or do something like that.
yeah.
If that's what it is, then okay, I have a problem with it. But other than that, and I put a lot of thought into this. Other than that, I don't really care because I don't think it matters too much.
Yeah.
It depends on what issue it bleeds into. Um, but other than that, I think that I don't know why people. Well, I do know why. I mean, that's the thing that Jordan Peterson tries to explain is why people believe in God.
Because he does.
No, not really. He says he does. He has said in the past that he believes in God, but he doesn't believe in God the way people believe in God
Because
typically.
let me just interrupt for a sec. That book that he wrote, The 12 Rules for Life, I think it's called, I bought it on Audible because I was so convinced that I needed to, like, get this guy. Because, like, Lord of the Rings, I hate the Lord of the Rings films. I've watched one of them twice, and I just, it's not for me. But because it's so popular, I feel like I'm the one who's wrong there, and that it's objectively something that should be appreciated. But the book, the first chapter was okay. He talked about the lobster thing and standing up straight, and it's like, all right, yeah, he's talking about taking responsibility. People should, and we shouldn't expect life to be handed to us. But then the amount of quotes from the Bible, which is why I think he must be heavily like Christian.
Well, like here's the thing. My views on religion and the Bible are way different than everybody else who loves the Bible.
Hmm.
Because I don't view it as being this holy text that's sacred, like direct word from some higher being. However, I do think that the stories within the Bible are what the ancient people, not ancient, but obviously when was it written? I don't know, like 2,000 years ago.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that those stories are supposed to be symbolic and meaningful
Hmm.
to the way that we live our lives. And I think that the way that religion is today is very, very distorted of the way that perhaps it was meant. I think here's the thing. Here's what I think. I think that if the people of today's society all got together and said, "Hey, let's write down some of the most like what we believe to be right, what we think is morally good, what we think is like if we talked about truth, a lot of people today are concerned about this idea of truth, like there's an objective truth,
Hmm.
and we all value the scientific method. I think if that people today, the scientists of today, like got together and wrote up something in today's terminology and then we wrote it down and said, okay, we're going to pass this down generation to generation. I think eventually some people would start interpreting it as being religious, and some people would think like, oh, you worship some god called truth, and
Hmm.
it's like, no, we don't. And I think that I don't think that. Oh, I don't know. It's hard for me to explain. That's the thought that I've had recently. I feel like we shouldn't be doing this live right now because these are thoughts I don't want to be public.
I don't think we've said anything offensive apart from maybe when I said the fuck God thing, but that was kind of a hypothetical scenario, although I have said stuff like that before. But no, I think these are the things that people should talk about, really. Like, why the fuck are we here? How did we get here? And we don't have the answers. Like, even the most religious of all people probably isn't 100% convinced, or maybe some of them are, that there's going to be an afterlife or heaven. And I wish there was, because it would be amazing. And
See, here's the other thing that I think when I read the Bible or when I look at stuff like that, I don't think that's what they mean. I don't think they really believe in that. Like I don't know where people are getting some of this stuff from.
what is that? Just clarify. What do you think people aren't say? What the what about heaven? You mean like they're not saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean like when I think about the term heaven, I think that it represents just like something better.
Hmm.
I think it just represents like what you should be like. I think this is pretty much what Jordan Peterson thinks is like it's like what you're aiming for. Like if life right now could be better in the future, like that's all it really is. I don't think it really means anything more like when the Bible talks about death. I think most of the time it's not
Mhm.
talking about literal death. It's supposed to be symbolic, about like the whole death and rebirth thing.
Okay.
Like it's like parts of you um it's like a change in mindset, when you start changing the way that you live your life and changing the way you think. That's symbolic of the way that you are thinking is one part of you is it's dying, and then another part of you has to take its place.
Yeah. If you Here's another deep, irrelevant to reality question. If you were to come back as a non-human, what would you come back as? For like, would you want to be a flying bird or
Like
a
an animal.
dolphin? I guess so. Yeah, a dinosaur.
What do I think most likely would be, or
Obviously, you'd have a
what would I
different
like to
mind.
be? What
You
would
wouldn't
I want
like
to be?
chicken with a human brain because that would be awkward and
Right,
difficult.
but what would I want to be, or what do I think I would be?
What both actually, but I was going
Okay.
to ask, what would you want to be?
Okay, what I think I would be, and I wouldn't want to be, is like a bug, and I would get killed right away by like some bird or something.
Why do you think you would be a bug?
Because I have low self-esteem and I view myself as being insignificant, the way
Okay.
that bugs are, that you can just squash them.
Yeah.
Sorry, I not to talk about killing animals again, but
Do you know, just to touch on this, do you know Jordan Peterson is on a all beef diet because he's, I don't know, and his daughter is
yeah,
as well.
yeah. Well, I mean, he's skeptical of it.
Yeah.
He's like, I've seen the Joe Rogan interview with him,
Mm.
and where he talked about it, because that's where he basically started talking about it.
I
Do you
just
see
think I'd
that?
be bored very quickly of
Did
eating
did you
beef.
see that Scott from Depression to
I
Expression
did. His
interviewed?
channel's got quite big now.
Yeah, but
Part
did you see that?
of that interview.
Yeah, he interviewed Michaela Peterson.
Yeah, I watched some of it. I don't really watch Scott's videos just because I don't
I
know.
don't. I don't either.
Unsubscribed. I just got bored, and like I feel like I don't watch any mental health channels
Well,
really
yeah.
now.
I mean, I don't really watch too much videos of like people that
I
much
used to
either.
like watching the Silence Within Me guy, not because I found his videos helpful, but just because he was so, I don't know, like fucking all over the place at times that it was interesting to see what he was going to do next. He doesn't even make videos anymore.
I know. I didn't think that he did. I seen that, but
He's got the same name as me, which is rare. Not many people have the same spelling of it.
oh really?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. What do you
What
want me
animal
to
would
tell?
you want to be?
Oh. It's hard to say. Yeah, I mean, I think it would have to be a bird, right? Just to like fly, I guess that'd be cool. But I don't know.
It'd be fun for a while, wouldn't it?
Just be like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm going somewhere else. You just go
Yeah.
anywhere you want.
If you
If
could
you're
have
like,
any superpower, like anything, like you could go invisible, you could teleport, you could be invincible, you could be super strong, whatever. What would it be?
I've always really liked the idea of teleporting. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but
Would you use
yeah,
it for
I don't
good?
know.
Would you
Huh?
teleport? Would you teleport into a bank and take money and then teleport out and no one would ever know? Or would
I would probably not start with that, but yeah,
you?
I would definitely do that.
You wouldn't be human if you didn't consider that. You could also do that with the invisibility, I suppose.
Yeah.
Bit more risky though. I think I'll go with a teleportation. I'm not stealing your answer. I just think that would be mine just because public transport sucks. And like, it would be amazing. Like, you could just, let's say you could flick your fingers and you're suddenly abroad and you're tired of the winter. It's cold, it's miserable. And suddenly you're in Spain or Australia just surfing for a little while. It'd be very good.
So, so what's? I guess that wouldn't make any sense. I was trying to think like about the other one, which is like speed, like being able to like go really fast.
Hmm.
And I was thinking like, what would you use that for? Because if you're just going to use that to get from one place to another really quickly, wouldn't you just teleport?
You
But
could use it to win the
yeah,
Olympics.
yeah, yeah, true.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. You still want to talk? How long has it been?
An hour. We could do a little bit longer.
Okay.
I'm getting
Um,
hungry.
yeah. Oh man, I hate like we talked about like some really deep stuff. I'm sorry, I didn't know that we were gonna do that.
We didn't really
I
have a plan, to be fair.
I don't. Well, we didn't. No, I naturally think about that stuff,
Yeah.
and I think I don't like it. I hate that. Like I'm not the kind of person who forms strong opinions about things generally. So
Mm.
when it comes to like controversial stuff, like like the whole vegan thing, or even God, or even people that are controversial, like Jordan Peterson, like I will sit here and debate over and over and over again both sides because that's how I am. Like I always see both sides. I'm always like in the
So
middle on
not.
things.
I'm so different in that respect to you.
Yeah, I know that.
I
And it pisses me off. No,
have
I'm
to
just
pick
kidding.
a side, and sometimes, as you'll have seen, I'll pick a side and then swap teams and then swap back again because I can't make my mind up.
Mm.
But I'll do that
See,
five personality test in a while.
yeah. So like I keep it all inside. Like I have all this stuff and like internally, and I just don't share it with people.
Yeah, which is
I
interesting because you have your YouTube channel. You'd think, and I had assumed before that you probably put it out there, but you're worried about sharing the deeper beliefs that you have, or maybe obviously on the more controversial topics, because I guess you don't want to offend anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the only thing about controversial things, about like people getting offended, it's not even about people getting offended. It's just if you think you're right and you think that somebody else is wrong. Um,
Sure.
I always have a problem, and I guess this is and this was you at one point when you were vegan.
Oh, I know. I'm still
Is
very judgmental in that respect. Like I will, and I don't know if that's the INFJ. I never got the J, what it really meant.
No, I think that's what it means.
I think it kind of means judging and also very particular about being tidy was mentioned, which I am also. Perfectionism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always see I think that I'm not too concerned about what people believe or what people think. Like I don't well here's the thing. I think the reason why I don't care so much, I'm not so judgmental or whatever you want to call it like that,
Hmm.
is because I actually don't have my own views. I don't really form my own opinions on things. I don't feel like I'm right. I think that's what it is. I don't feel like I'm right about anything.
Nothing.
I always feel like I'm wrong at everything, which is why I'm always searching for what is the other perspective, what does the other person think. And that's why I think I'm insecure, is because I know that so many people are very feel very strongly about their thought, their opinion, or their view on things.
Mm.
So it's difficult for somebody like me who doesn't have an opinion to confront other people who have an opinion on things and bring up counterpoints because um you're worried about the feedback from people, the blowback or the response,
Yeah.
because if you believe something and then I come up to you and I say, what about the other point of view? What about the exact opposite of what you think? Doesn't that make sense? And you just say, no, you're a fucking idiot. Then we don't really get anywhere,
Mm.
and that's what, and it makes me feel like shit. And it makes me not be able to feel like I all of a sudden, like, we're not on the same team. You're all of a sudden like, you know,
Mm.
like we're not together. We're not trying to work something out. We're not trying to actually get to a solution. And I think that's why I value, like, very strongly listening to people and having conversations, and unfortunately that means that I don't actually come to a lot of conclusions. So it's kind of a lot of, not really getting anywhere myself, but
Do you
it's
think
always
there's any questions that are objective or any answers that are objective. So, as a extreme example, if I said that a paedophile child killer deserved to be hung, or no, let's because some people might disagree on the death penalty. Let's say my opinion is that someone who's done that should go to prison for the rest of their life. Do you think someone could argue that they should be allowed to roam free?
Well, here's the thing. For me, and because I've done this before, I think it's very.
Done what before?
I always think about everything. So
Mhm.
I will, in that case, actually take time to consider why perhaps the other option, like I will actually consider what are the other options other than that.
Okay.
It's just, and it is not saying that I feel any way differently about um, anything than other people. It's just what are the other options? Like, can I at least think about it? You know, and that's the thing.
Mm.
I don't base it off of immediate gut reactions, which is obviously, yeah, they should, like you said, your first instinct was to say, hang them, right? Like that was your first thought was,
Yeah.
hang them. And for me, like, yeah, that
Maybe a
is, of
human head,
course,
but
that is, see, like, yes, that is the immediate reaction. But what I always try to do is I try to say, well, what else? Like, I try to think about it in different ways, even though, yeah, like in that sort of situation, it's obvious, it's obvious that it's wrong, um, and that there should be severe punishments. Because, I mean, here's the thing: it's not simply because we've decided that murder is wrong, that fucking children is wrong, that even littler things like
hmm
stealing, even littler things like committing fraud, like
hmm
we've all agreed that these things are bad, but there's a reason why these things are. There's a punishment for these things because
yeah.
as a society, we've thought about these things and realized that it's not good for things, and it's not based on just simply. I mean, there's a reason why these things are bad.
hmm
Murder, it's like obviously like. I mean, it wasn't so obvious so long ago, right? Like there was a point where it was just normal, wasn't it? Like I don't know, I'm not a historian, but
Oh well, me neither. But I guess like some of the society rules and laws are very subjective and interchangeable anyway. Like obviously, you could be 20-year-old man and have sex with a 17-year-old in the UK, and that's fine. But if you go over to America and do it, unless they're 18, you've just broken a law. And it's like, well, 16 or 18, like, how do we choose a number? Like, it's that side of it is obviously like a bit up for debate.
yeah, that is interesting.
But
It's
a
like
6-year-old isn't off the limits for everyone, right?
right, it's interesting because at that point, like you have to like when you think about it, when you think about the severity of punishment and what is actually taking place, like the difference between I don't know what the age is. I honestly I don't know.
Mm,
But
50.
um, it is interesting that we do have to draw the line somewhere,
hmm
and that we say that one side of the line is okay, and the other side is not. And where am I going with this?
I
Um,
don't know. Like,
like
let's say someone goes to prison because they had sex with a 15-year-old, but they were about to turn 16 an hour later. Like, and in the UK that would be legal. Have they just committed some horrific crime? Like, I know what you're saying. You're saying that there's a point at which it's like unknown because there's a yes, this
right.
is
So
wrong, and then
so
there's a
what
no.
we have to ask ourselves is why it is wrong. But
Yeah.
that's where things get difficult because what if you come out of that conversation and you think that it's reasonable or okay, which of course if you want to protect people from, like the 15-year-old, if you want to protect them or whoever, however old it is, right, you have to have laws in place.
hmm
So it's a matter of harming other people. At the bottom line is that what you're doing is you're harming other people, and we've all agreed that that's not okay.
Yeah. one of your subscribers says it would be marriage should be banned if we could do that. Ban marriage. I don't know why he feels so strongly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably ex-wife was a bitch or something. But yeah. Let's do a little vote for anyone who's watching live that it says there's 17 people. Would you say that a rapist has the right to live, or should they? And we're not going to even give you the option of they can go to prison, and you don't have to vote, but it's either you let the rapist live or they die. Which one do you choose? We all know what everyone's going to say, though, right?
I don't, because I think a lot of people have, especially with today. You know, a lot of people aren't sure what rape is.
True.
Because of, you know, some people say that some things are okay, and some people say that some things aren't okay.
Yeah.
And that's a controversy too.
Okay, for anyone who's not yet voted, which is everyone, the person was drugging this person, beat them, and then raped them. There you go. But yeah, you're right. No, there is. Everything has kind of a grayer area.
And I'm telling you, that's what frustrates me so much, is everything seems to be controversial and people always have different thoughts on things. And it's like, it's almost like I feel like I'm trying to catch up and understand where other people are at. Like, what are the rules of society? Like, what is, like, it's almost like I'm trying to figure things out and trying to listen to people, because I don't think about this stuff. The only reason why I think about any of this stuff is because other people talk about it and other people have opinions on it.
Yeah.
And then I find out that it's actually controversial and some people actually think the other thing, you know, and it's like, now I got to start investigating. Like, for example, I grew up as a Christian, and then all of a sudden, like, I lived in that world. Like, that's all I knew. And then I realized, oh yeah, by the way, this isn't the only religion out there, and other people also just don't believe in God, and some people think that this is all bullshit. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, hold on. You mean I gotta like actually view that now? And I'm like, okay, well, let me do that now. So then I started listening to atheists and everything, and I was like, God damn it, now I'm confused. You know, like now, like why can't things be easy? Like why can't things just be easy? And that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go play some Fortnite.
Yeah. If I was brought up in a Christian family, I probably wouldn't have the same views I do. So, like, yeah, that plays a big part. Like where you've.
Oh yeah, that is the other thing too. Is the reason why I'm not on Team Atheist 100% is because I grew up as a Christian and I see the point of view, and I see that these people who grew up like this, that's all they know, you know, and they never even like they have like, yeah, you can say they're stupid if you're not a Christian. If you're an atheist and you really think that the Bible is bullshit and you really look at the belief in God as being stupid, which I don't think, but if that is your view, then you know you just look at people as being stupid, and it means that you don't even care. See, that's what it looks like to me. It almost seems like you just absolutely don't care about spreading your point of view to the other person. It's frustrating for me because I almost think like I want people to be talking. I want people to be having conversations. The most interesting thing I could ever do is sit down and watch the smartest Christian and the smartest atheist have conversations together, which is why so many people are attracted to Jordan Peterson, because he has conversations with people like Sam Harris, and they do
Is that
these.
the atheist lady? No.
Sam Harris is a guy, neuroscientist,
Oh.
speaker, like one of the top, like, you know, like you have Richard
I
Dawkins.
know the name. Yeah, the name
Yeah,
rings.
he's like, you know, like he's done so many things with like Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens and things like that. Like, he's up there as when people start talking about, you know, like that type of thing. So See, that's the thing, is like I'm so drawn to the big clashes of ideas, the big clashes of like, but it frustrates me because I can't come up with my own thoughts on things.
You must have an opinion though, but because like you must, like you said, you have an initial reaction to certain things, and then you think on it deeper until you're confused.
Yeah, but I think because I see both sides, I always see both sides of things, and I have this part of me which is forgiveness. That is the biggest part of my, if there was a personality test that could differentiate me from other people, it
Yeah.
is I would 100% forgive everybody for everything. Is that a good thing? It too much of it is obviously not good because we can't forgive everybody for everything. But
Mm.
that's what I'm naturally inclined to do. Is I'm naturally inclined to say, you know what? You're a murderer, you're a rapist, I'm going to give you a second chance. Is that right? Should we set our society up around that? Maybe no, you know. But but I have so much, like I don't look at somebody as being an idiot and think, "Oh, go fuck them." Right? Like I think, you know, this person should, hopefully somebody can help them out, like
Right.
uh like if I see somebody, if somebody cuts me off in traffic, I'm like, "Hey, that person shouldn't do that. They should not do that next time." Like I don't think like fuck you. Like
Oh
I
man.
I I don't think like that. Like that's just how I am.
It'd be interesting if we could swap lives for a day with that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, I'm chilled. So with you, do you not get like typically? I know you have your anxiety probably as well because you've spoken about that. But do you get stressed in general? Like, does much stress you, or are you quite just chilled out? Like, go with the flow.
Um I am usually, how, like I get stressed out very easily because I'm kind of lazy. I think that's the best way of putting it. Maybe not the best way, but
Mm.
um I I get overwhelmed easily by things when there's too much stuff going on. Like I always feel like I need to escape from things going on to go where there's nothing going on, where I can just like relax and do nothing.
What's
Like
your
my
favorite thing that will, if you've had a stressful, say, you're probably like me, you can confirm when you're around a lot of people in crowds and noise, does it wear on you quite quick because you're quite introverted?
Yeah, a lot.
What's your thing that you rely on to bring you back into balance again? Just sort of going home and sitting in the room, going online, playing video games, Fortnite, like you say, or what?
Yeah, I don't play Fortnite, but
How would you know? I've never played it.
I have,
It'd be
but like
amazing.
I do play video games, and that does get my mind off of things.
Mm.
But that's only been a recent thing. I've that's actually like been my like go to this past year. I mean, I've been playing video games. I've probably played video games my whole life, but I've never been like a gamer. But that's been something that I've gone to. But other than that, like I used to smoke like cigarettes
Oh, did you?
for and like that was something that I would like, I would like get stressed out. I'd be like, I need to smoke right now, and I would
Mm.
just like do that just because I was like, oh, I'm stressed, gotta smoke, and then I quit a couple years ago. So, um, other than that, like I just want to be alone. I want to be by myself, and I just want to get away from people. Like that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I think you should guess what my big five result will be.
Okay, did you take it or no?
I've just started the first page now, and there's 3 pages on this website. I could even screen share, but then that's not going to work so well. But yeah, I don't know if you know this, but you can on Google Hangouts you can screen share, which is pretty cool because I didn't used to be able to do that. I don't think, or maybe I could. I'll be interested to check because I almost went out my way to get a MacBook Pro because Windows laptop I had just didn't seem to have those kind of functions, but maybe it would have done.
I mean, you should use OBS to stream. until they do
I
stuff.
don't even know what it is. What is OBS?
It's a free software that you just download, and then you'd have to like set everything up. There's a couple of things you'd have to do to set it up, but
Okay.
you can like show your screen. You can. It's what like people do to. A lot of people use it for like recording their video games and stuff.
Oh,
But
cool.
it's just a streaming software, and you can put like stuff on your like text or like
Yeah.
make like frames or something. I don't know. People can
Oh,
be
no, I know
creative.
what you mean. I've seen like live streamers and they've got like borders around. I did wonder how they did that. I imagine there'd be a site for it. I'm guessing for this question, you scored highly disagree. I get chores done right away.
Yeah, they don't get done. They don't get done. That's my that's like conscientiousness, I think.
Have a guess what you think I am for that. With
Well,
chores.
I think you seem like the kind of person who gets things done.
I get annoyed if like if Ellen, my girlfriend, leaves a plate on the side for about a minute.
Yeah.
But I'm also, if I'm tired, I will just not care. Like I'll leave my ironing for weeks at a time until I have to do it because I hate ironing.
Yeah,
So
I'm a
it's a bit of a
slob.
tricky one.
I blame my I blame my parents.
Do you have a dishwasher?
Well, you know, I'm so mad because here's the thing. This is how much of a lazy piece of crap I am. So I do have a dishwasher, and it worked great for a year, and then it stopped working, and now it's like, okay, I do the dishes myself. I do
Yeah.
let them stack up a lot, and it
Yeah.
is not good. But because I'm a slob and I don't want to publicly share that. This is why I don't vlog in my house. This is why I don't like carry my camera around with me and be like,
Mm.
"Hey guys, check out this is me making food, or this is me, doing whatever." Because you don't want to see the crap I have laying around, how I take care of myself. Anyway,
What kind of
yeah.
stuff
So,
do you watch on YouTube? Just a quick question.
well, I watch a lot of stand-up comedy. I'll just go searching for random people.
Yeah.
Because I'm a fanatic of stand-up comedy.
Who's your favorite?
Norm Macdonald is my favorite. I like Bill Burr. I like who else?
I probably
Not
don't
Louis
know
C.K. anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
most of them.
Huh?
Hey, cut out. What was that?
Oh, I was joking. What'd you say? You kind of broke up a little bit.
Oh, I was just saying, most of the ones you'll mention, I probably won't know because I just watch the UK comedians pretty much.
Yeah.
Russell Brand. He's not my favorite by any stretch, but do you know Michael McIntyre? Have you heard of him?
No, I haven't.
I like him, but again, I don't know if the humor would translate over because that's sometimes a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be, but
I'm just about to do page 1 of this test, so by the end of this video, we won't go for much longer because you probably want to get away as well. I'll soon tell you what my result is. I'm getting mixed ticks across the board, though. There's like a scale of 1 to 5 of whether I agree with a statement or not. I am the life of the party. Strongly disagree with that one.
yeah,
My mood
definitely.
change easily. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I have a vivid imagination. Kind of. Anyway, what? Just
You can
remind me
keep going if you
with
want.
your introvert bit of the test, because I guess it gives you a percentage for that. Did you say that was like 100%? Because you mentioned 0% for. Actually, that was the laziness, wasn't it?
Well, that's the extroversion. It's not simply just introverted versus extroverted.
Okay.
They break it down. Like extroversion is broken down into withdrawal and what's the other one? I can't remember, but it's broken down into two different segments, and it is kind of like I should probably be looking this up while you're doing this. I could actually talk about that while you're taking it.
I'll be finished with this in the next few minutes. Because that's the thing. When I did the Myers-Briggs test, my introvert thing, I think it was 98% introverted.
Mm.
which is mad.
Okay, so one of the things is agreeableness. If you're high in agreeableness, which I am,
Yeah.
it says this is the primary dimension of interpersonal interaction. So the two aspects of that are compassion and politeness.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, I could probably see yourself being high in agreeableness, sort of.
I am. Yeah.
Um,
Definitely. Like I'm kind of a pussy when it comes to it in real life. Like if
okay,
someone needs a favor and I'm already too busy, I'm like, yeah, sure, no worries.
the thing about agreeableness is like for me, it's like avoiding conflict. That's what this says.
Yeah.
The problem
See,
is you
in
might be it might
day
balance out
to
for
day,
you. Sorry, go ahead.
it cut a bit when you were just saying something as well. By the way,
Okay.
um, yeah, in day to day life, I probably steer clear. Part of me wants to, but then I know the boundaries there not to offend people. Like, I don't.
Mhm.
That's not my intention to offend people, but to have conversations that are a bit more exciting. Like, the whole "why are we here" thing.
It literally says in here, people with high levels of agreeableness are very forgiving, accepting, and flexible.
Yeah,
Like actually, that's literally describing me. Like,
yeah, I forgive people pretty easy as well. Like, it's been a problem in the past where I'll let people take advantage of that, I guess. And now I have to sort of unnaturally remind myself to be more assertive because I'm not. I'm like fold over. I don't like controversy or arguments when it's like me involved and it's like genuinely heated. I don't like it. Yeah. I find it difficult to get to work. I don't know. Not really. Sometimes I get close to missing the bus, but I'll say neutral on that one. I stay in the background. I try to most of the time, so 4 out of 5. Is anyone still here? 15, 16 people.
yeah, I'm surprised people are still watching. I don't ever do live streams this long, and number one, I don't ever stream with anybody else.
No, I don't
And
stream. I mean, I did, I guess, at some point last year. I did it for a while, but I just don't. I like having conversations, but when it's just me, I don't have an idea of what I'm going to talk about. So unless people ask questions in the
right.
comments, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. It's been 5 minutes. Goodbye.
Yeah, when you're doing a stream by yourself, you certainly like want to focus on like comments, and I do enjoy that. I really like actually talking to like actually interacting with the people that subscribed. Um,
Yeah, we could invite one of your viewers right now to join in on the chat. They probably wouldn't be up for it anyway.
no, thank you. I'm good. Like, I just want to. I mean, I just wanted to talk to you,
See, the
about
interesting
everything
thing
going
is,
on.
towards the beginning of this stream, you said that you like to make people feel awkward, but then you seem to counteract that by not doing the controversy in conversation. What are your thoughts?
Um, that's my type of humor. That's my type of twisted humor.
Right.
I like to make things uncomfortable. Part of it is, I guess, part of it is sort of like about myself, like wanting to put myself in an uncomfortable situation and
Hmm.
say something. But if we're talking about controversial things, like I don't want, um, like I don't want to be create like conflict or whatever.
Yeah. Right. I'm on the third page, so I'm nearly done. What happened with your subscriber count going up then? Was that your loneliness video, did you say? Got a lot of views?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like I was freaking out for like a good week there every single day.
Yeah.
Because I was like right where you were.
I
Like
literally saw your channel and a week later I was like, hey, what the fuck? He's got
yeah,
1,500 subscribers out of nowhere.
yeah. So like I was at 5,500, and then all of a sudden one day it just shot up a little bit, like maybe double like what it's been. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. It just went up like it doubled the views, double the subscribers. A couple days later, all of a sudden I get like 200 subscribers in a day, and I'm looking at my loneliness video, and like so many people like watched it, so I got a lot of views, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I'm
Hmm.
like, this isn't gonna last very long. And sure enough, it kept going for like a week, every single day, just like a couple hundred people or 150, and then it finally slowed down, and now I'm like actually back to where I was almost. But I mean, I'm still doing better than what I was, which is great.
Hmm. I
Honestly, I wasn't really feeling too great about YouTube for a while. Like I was just like I didn't care, and then all of a sudden this just gave me like a little bit of motivation.
Yeah,
Like,
it does,
hey,
doesn't
you
it?
can actually do this. Like, you never know when you're just gonna get a huge boost of like people who want to watch your videos.
Yeah. What's your goal then with your channel going forward in terms of do you think you'll be filming in 5 or 10 years?
100%.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a matter of what am I gonna do.
Do you think
Um,
you'll have kids? Would you put them on camera if so?
ooh, that's a good question. I will probably have kids as long as things work out with my girlfriend right now, and we
Yeah.
get married or something. But,
You've been
um,
together a few years now though, right?
oh yeah, like, hold on, how long is it? It's been 6 years now. Yeah, it's been six
Really?
years now.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah. Um, will I put my kids on camera? I mean, I think I will. I don't know. Well, because like a lot of people, they do it like when they're a baby and when they like their whole. I think I would just maybe not too much. Just innocent things, little things. I'm not gonna
Mm.
make a whole video about my kid though.
No, no.
I would just be like, hey, here's my kid. Come on camera. Okay, cool. Get out of here.
I've got my results ready, so
Okay.
openness. Let you can have a guess. What do you think I am for openness?
Openness, I think you're um
Because
I
bearing in
think
mind,
you're
some of the stuff will be like I'm shy or I keep opinions to myself, I suppose. So it's a bit varied in what it's going to mean.
I think openness you're probably like in the 70th percentile.
It's in the 70th. Try and guess the exact number.
73.
75. You were fucking close, man.
Yeah, I got a good I personality. I'm so interested in personality now.
It is interesting, very.
Like
Do you feel like you
I can
can?
tell people. I
Yeah.
understand where people are coming from. I understand the differences between people.
Okay. Yeah. Right. This is an interesting one. Conscientiousness. I probably said the word wrong there. You got zero
Okay.
for that. What do
Okay,
you
you
think?
probably got fairly high in orderliness and industriousness. You probably got lower than your orderliness.
What does that mean,
Um
by the way? Industriousness. Yeah.
I'm not too big on industriousness. That was the one I got the lowest in. Oh, I
Okay.
got the lowest in a couple of these. People who are low in industriousness are less likely to be successful in school and at
Mm,
jobs, and they'll be underachievers. They don't regard work as important. They're procrastinators. They miss deadlines. They fail to complete things. They
yeah.
lack focus. Always distracted. You
Yeah.
might be actually in like the 30th or 20th.
I'm 42%, so I'm a little bordering on
Okay,
uh
okay.
I don't see my goals through. I often change my goals and I'm
What was that,
distracted easily.
conscientiousness or was
Yeah.
that industriousness?
Oh, it just says on this one it's just under conscientiousness in
Okay,
general.
there's a more like in-depth thing on that you can
Okay.
probably find somewhere. I don't know if it's on a different page for you, but well, no, you didn't take the one I'm on, are you?
No,
No, that's right.
truity.com.
That's
This
right.
is just the
That's right.
first
So
one I found.
you just see those ones. Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
Extroversion out of 100.
Uh. I'm gonna say 17th.
25, so close.
Okay. I was
Because
gonna say 20th.
sometimes I can be like fairly interactive with people,
Yeah.
but it's not natural, especially if I don't know the people. Agreeableness, have a guess.
85th.
Lower than I expected to be, actually. 56.
Yeah, I think there's two components. I think you're probably high in compassion,
Hmm.
and then politeness. You're probably around. Yeah, you're probably lower, like mid-range for that.
Yeah. The last one is neuroticism. Have a guess out of 100.
Um,
How neurotic do you think I am?
you are probably, well, I got 91st. I'm gonna say you are you got to be somewhere around there. You got to be like 88.
I beat you. I'm more neurotic than you. I got
Are you really? Okay.
94%.
Oh
Obviously, we did
wow.
a slightly different test, so the questions might vary a bit, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
I'll have a look at that. But yeah, I'll probably be better off doing a. But the thing is, when I like got well into the INFJ thing, did you ever do the Enneagram as well?
No. Well,
I
did you
was
know that?
type. I can't remember.
What are you?
What was I? I can't remember what it was. What number it was? It was the romantic one. I think it's type 4 Enneagram. Hang on a minute.
I think I might have done that actually, and I just forgot because I didn't care about that one.
Yeah, I thought they were both interesting, but then I just wanted to know more, and it's almost probably. Yeah, that's right. Uh, but it's almost like you want the book because I went and bought a book on INFJ. You want it to be a guide for how you should handle your personality, the kind of job you should get, and obviously they tell you, oh, you should be a counselor or you should be a psychologist or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, right.
Um.
Anything else you want to talk about? We've been doing this for 2 hours.
Yeah, it's been crazy. What I was gonna ask you something about these person. Oh yeah, did you know that that there's more to the INFP or ENTJ, whatever it is, the Myers Briggs thing than just simply those four things? You know, there's like more in depth stuff.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit, but what is it again?
It's actually, as far as I know, it's I think isn't Carl Jung had something to do with this test? Um, like it's based off of his stuff. Like I'm fairly confident.
Hmm.
Like
A lot of it does stem from Carl Jung or Jung or however you say his surname.
um I know I bookmarked something and I can't find it. But yeah, he there's like this other aspect to it where it's like a more in-depth thing. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know. I guess we can end it. Do you want to end the stream now?
Yeah. Can I be shameless and give everyone a sneak preview, like 15 seconds of my song that I'll put up in the next few days?
Oh yeah, do whatever you want to do.
All right, let's do it. It's called I Won't Stop Until Time Does. Ready?
Yep.
Hang on. Okay. I only did this like an hour before we started the stream, probably. I had to edit it. Here we go. Let's all tell a lie that we're okay. It's better off that way. You're in denial, just fake a smile. Maybe fall asleep for a while. Cause reality is harsh. Cold sends ice into my heart. Dream tonight, it's all alright. At least until we've opened our eyes. A little sneaky preview. Yeah.
You're gonna have to. Are you gonna upload this to your channel?
Probably tomorrow.
Okay.
It'll be on there.
So cool. Well,
Yeah, this was fun. We had
yeah.
some
Thank you
very
for.
deep conversations.
Yeah, thank you for doing this. Was not expecting this to go this way.
I
But
didn't. Honestly, I was quite tired, and I probably will be after this. I thought we'd maybe talk for half an hour.
yeah. I just wanted to catch up with you, see how things are going with you, because
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to chat. It was cool. So
Quick question before we
yeah.
go. That's all right. Do you still read self-help books?
No.
Nah, they're all the
I mean,
same.
I do.
Pretty.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm more interested in reading like psychology books now,
Yeah.
and a
Any
lot of
you would
stuff.
recommend?
No, because I don't really read that much. But
I've got a fuck ton of books, but I never actually really
yeah.
have the time to read them. I've got over 1,000. So
Oh, really? Wow.
they'll outlive me.
Yeah, it's a lot. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you for being here.
Cheers.
Yeah, anybody who's watching this, thank you for being here as well. You made it to the end of it, so go check out The Roar Within on YouTube.
My one video right now that's on
And
my channel.
his one video that's going to be out tomorrow. He's got one video. He's got 5,000 subscribers, 5,500 subscribers, and
Just off one video, man.
one video. It's great. You should check it
Quite a
out.
talent.
Yeah, thank you for being here, though.
Cheers.
Hope things go well for you. Good luck with everything.
We'll have to do another one in a few months or once there's something else to discuss.
Yeah, whenever.
Do it on my channel, maybe.
All right, let me see how we end this thing. All right, got to go over and stop it. All right, bye, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Toodles.